that Caitlin Clark is officially out for the season. And this news came from Caitlin Clark herself. She posted it on her social media pages with a long note, and it was actually sad. She was the one who had the hope that she could get back out there. But when I saw this news, I was this close to jumping on last night and doing a live reaction. From Caitlin's perspective, it seemed like she was really trying, and she was really trying to do everything she possibly could to get back on the court.
Did the Indiana Fever know Caitlin Clark was never coming back this season? Fans were told day to day, even promised return dates like August 10th and 14th. Yet here we are with reports pointing to a season-ending decision. Why build all that hype if the truth was already known? Stick around, because what looks like an injury update might actually be a calculated strategy to keep fans spending money, and the timing of the reveal could be even shadier than the injury itself. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Why would a team keep saying day to day when everybody around the situation knew Caitlin Clark wasn't even in contact drills for weeks?
From Caitlin's note that she put out, I almost wonder if Caitlin was the one who was really trying, and the coaching staff and the front office were just kind of letting her do that. Coach Steph White is the only one who's been answering questions on Caitlin's injury. Whoever's to blame, whatever the case might be, the fan base has lost trust in the organization. They do not know what to believe. Maybe Coach Steph White has been taking all of this heat, but that's what she had to say. Maybe the front office told Coach Steph White, you can't give anything.
That's what has fans completely fired up. Day to day is supposed to mean a minor tweak, a situation where the player could suit up any night if they get cleared. But with Clark, people kept getting reassured. She's close. She might be ready by this game. Specific dates even floated around online, and not just once. People were told to watch certain matchups because that could be the night she finally returned. Now looking back, none of that lined up with the reality that she hadn't taken part in practice at full speed. Imagine you're a fan who bought a ticket for one of those games because you were led to believe it would be the big comeback moment.
Why that means more in any other sport, in any other world, it's not that important, okay, as it is to this league and this organization. That is how big Caitlin Clark is. That is the global impact, and it's not just an American impact. That's the global impact that Caitlin Clark has had on this league. Unfortunately, though, there are still people at this point in time who are still denying that. When Caitlin Clark went out with injury in the beginning of the season, the viewership dropped over 50% league-wide.
Maybe it's a weeknight game you drove hours to attend, or a weekend afternoon matchup picked by national broadcasters just in case her return happened on TV. The hype wasn't just background noise. It affected how people planned their money and their time. If the team knew she wasn't close, why let those dates keep getting tossed around like they were realistic? When the updates keep shifting without any straight answers, it feels less like uncertainty and more like strategy. Compare that to how other major stars' injuries get handled. When LeBron has a groin strain, or when Patrick Mahomes tweaks an ankle, the medical updates usually follow a clear timeline. Teams announce he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, or she'll miss at least 10 games. Even if the return date isn't perfect, fans and media get a range. You can at least prepare, but here the communication was so loose that it left the door wide open for people to believe anything. And that anything almost always leaned toward optimism, because that's the storyline that sells hope.
Just learned a really troubling update regarding Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Looks like she is set to miss the rest of the season, including a potential playoff appearance. This is due to an injury. I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. She herself announced this news on social media just moments ago. She posted a pretty lengthy post on X talking about it, but essentially she hasn't played since she injured her right groin in the final minute of the Fever's.
Fans are noticing that difference in treatment. Plenty of people have already spoken about how expensive it's been to chase Clark games this year. We're not talking about $40 seats. Some have paid hundreds for lower bowl tickets or even put together road trips, expecting to see history. You wipe out the cost of gas, hotels, and meals, and it quickly climbs into the thousands. So when the team plays coy with language, it's not just a line of text on the injury report. It has a direct impact on people's wallets. Local reporters should get their credit, though. They've been closer to the truth the entire time, describing exactly what they saw. Clark on the sidelines. Clark not involved in scrimmages. Clark still wearing protective gear. That reporting gave fans real clues. But on the official side, vague phrases, constantly recycled, "she's making progress," and conveniently timed statements that never shut down the idea of a near return. The clash between honest observations and corporate phrasing couldn't be more obvious. And here's where the business part sneaks in. Selling tickets is the lifeblood of a WNBA franchise. National TV partners circle their schedules around stars like Clark. Out-of-town fans drive revenue for both the Fever and whatever road arena she plays in. By allowing the almost back narrative to linger, the organization kept all of those streams pouring in. Whether intentionally or not, they created a safety net of sales while dangling the possibility of her return over the heads of eager fans. That brings us to the big question. Was this just poor management, stuck between optimism and reality? Or was it a deliberate PR move to keep the machine running? If the team had already been told by doctors weeks ago that Clark wasn't going to play this year, then this entire rollout looks orchestrated. If not, then it's still a case of awful communication that hurt the very people who supported them most. Either way, the result's the same. Fans feel strung along. The evidence points strongly to the idea that the front office already knew where this was heading. They leaned into a softer storyline to buy time and keep money flowing, figuring they could absorb the backlash later. Now, the question isn't just about Clark's health. It's about how and when the organization will actually confirm the news in a way that minimizes the fallout. If the goal was to wait for the least explosive moment to admit what they knew all along, you have to wonder, how exactly will they drop this without fans noticing the manipulation for what it was? Fans weren't just kept in the dark about an injury. They were strung along while their money kept the story alive. Tickets, travel, and broadcasts all fed off the hope of seeing Clark return, and the silence from the front office turned into a business tool instead of honest communication. That's why accountability has to be demanded. The Fever can't keep hiding behind vague updates, and the league needs stronger rules for how injuries are reported. If fans stay quiet, nothing changes. Staying loud forces transparency, because silence only protects the people who benefit from keeping everyone in the dark.